Okay, guys, we back, man. So today we're gonna do. I just wanted to discuss about. I don't know if I read it. I forgot if I read it or not. So I'll reread it. Let's have a quick discussion on Nicolas Giganti's introduction. Right. I kind of fucked up today. My bus pass, I couldn't. I messed up, man. If only I would have saved at least $5 for the bus pass, dude. I could have made some money today, man. I could have made some money, but no. I chose not to. So, school or theater. This is the text that I'm using as an introduction for my study into rapier. So, this is the dude who translated it. So, if you guys are interested in, so here's some links to. This is the their school. Notice damn, this looks good, dude. Bunch of nerds, dude. Yeah, so this is pretty cool, but they're in Italy. What's up, Super Dank? What's up, folks? What's up, man? Yo, nigga, we got $0 to our name, dude. No booze. No booze for the time being, dude. So, this is, this is just some of the words, right? So, just some of the nomenclature that's used. I suppose I'll introduce it to you. So, debase, Italian fencing authors of 17th century, are of various opinions on how sections of the blade of the sword should be considered. To have dividing it into capoferro 1610, 7, 3, Marcelli, 4, Fabrice, and even 5 parts Alfieri. Although Giganti does not explicitly give his opinion, he refers only to 2, the debole, literally weak, and the forte, literally strong. So that's like, when you look at the balance of the blade from the handle tip, so the side that is closer to your hand that has more of the weight is the strong, and then towards the edge and the tip, that's the weak side. Drito, si mandrito, forte, half of the sword's blade, a hilt to its middle. Imbrocata, an overhand thrust, which some authors indicate travels at a downward angle. Incontro, literally an encounter, a situation where both fencers attempt to wound each other in the same tempo. E quartata, a type of attack made in the tempo of the opponent's attack by extending the arm with the sword turned to the inside, holding it in place while pivot foot on the lead, passing to the outside of the rear. Mandrito, a cut thrown from your right side toward the enemy's left side. Literally 4th in the number guard system used by the Gigantic contemporaries, a guard in which the hand is held supined. The sword's blade horizontal is its true edge facing towards the fencer's inside. To the left side, for a right-hand fencer, it's false to the outside. Sometimes the term is used to refer to the hand position itself. A cut thrown from your left side to your enemy's right side, rotella, a type of round curved shield appearing in number of Italian fencing manuals, including Capo Ferri's Giacomo di Grassi. Seconda, literally second, a guard in which the hand is held pronated, the sword blade horizontal, its true edge towards the fencer's outside and the false edge to the inside. Stoccata, an underhand thrust. So the underhand, this is overhand. Targa, like this is underhand. I should get my sword. So I guess I'll show you the reversal is something like this, right? Mind you, it's a cut. So the reversal is a cutting motion coming from your right side to your left side, or coming from your left side to their right side. You know, like that. And then the stoccata is an underhand. That's the one that I do a lot. I use a lot of the underhand thrust because they come out stronger for me. I still haven't mastered the overhand. You need a good edge, you know. The underhand gives you good edge, and then you got the overhand, you know. Targa Terza Tempo. In his chapter Tempo and Measure, Gigante explains that tempo is an opportunity to wound the enemy without being wounded in turn. However, he often uses the term to mean discrete interval of time or motion. You must do 3 things in one tempo, immediately in the same tempo, return backward outside of the measure. Vita, the word vita can mean life or body. In which different manners and methods of parrying and wounding with a single sword and sword dagger are represented, where every scholar will be able to exercise and become practiced in the profession of arms. By Nicoletto Gigante, Venetian to the most serene Don Cosmo de' Medici, great Prince of Tuscany. Now I think this foreword from Gigante is pretty interesting. Just as iron extracted from rough mines would be useless had it not received shape suited to humans' armies from industrious art, thus the same in the hands of a strong soldier can be of little profit if accompanied by studious and wise valor. The way is not made clear for every difficult triumphant success. In this way to point, since good shepherd welcomes the operation, and because almost all the noblest things proceeding from our actions receive appropriate material from his hands, which refined and dignified by the industry of the spirit, achieve miraculous and powerful effects. I am stunned to silence, now that this tempering is wonderfully displayed in the excellence and illustrious greatness of the most serene highness. You retain the natural greatness, return to its peak of the invincible glorious works of your ancestors, not only in the ancient and royal histories, but reflecting all the light of the present and past, blah blah blah. He's sucking his dick, basically. However, I will merely say that just as the proposition is demonstrated clearly in all arts, so it is perceived evidently in exercise in arms. Discussing the strength of steel, even if it is employed by a strong arm and agile body, if it is not conferred with observed rules in exercise study, it is shown to be perilous and of little valor. Whereas if the art can be recognized as a wise captain and obeyed as a bold minister, they make marvelous prowess of it. Your testament serves as a clear example to us in which heaven, needing the grant of every level of perfect quality, as in the complete illumination of present age, has in the noblest proportioned stature, pursuant blah 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 blah. Wherefore I recognize and admire blah 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 blah, consecrate blah 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 blah. This one's interesting, but I think much more so to the Lord readers. I think this one is much more interesting. All right, let me drink a little bit. Desiring to write on the subject of arms, although the author does not mention that it is a science, to me it appears necessary thing, Lord readers, to treat with what share it has, and of which name it should be adorned, so that everyone knows its greatness, dignity, and privilege. Thus, before any scholar of this most noble science reads and discusses the most learned and easy observations of valorous and knowledgeable excerpt, Nicholas Giganti, in order to observe the rule and general precept of a person who wants to address anything, I will come to the definition, then to general division of the word science. From these two things, it will finally be recognized by everyone that this beautiful profession shows us it is a science. Science, therefore, is a certain, and this is one thing that I feel like is really missing in the discussion of a lot of different modern sports, right? A lot of modern sports. The discussion of science is kind of relegated to pragmatic practices and in practicing and stuff like that, They don't like the systemized discussion of like boxing is quite different than like talking about swordsmanship and shit like that. You'll notice the complete difference. Taekwondo, same thing. They have fucking a bunch of mystic principles and fucking random nonsense hogwash thrown in with it, dude, It is up to the practitioner for the most part to kind of derive those philosophical understandings of the actions he does and the movements he does in the martial art. But in the swordsmanry theses and stuff like that, you see way different. But I think it has to do with the time frame. This is the time frame. Like, how many people do you think would begin talking about boxing in a scholarly way like this? None. Most practitioners of martial arts and stuff like that have like devolved themselves, and now it's not really seen as an art. The arts is taken out of it. It has the same subjectivism injected as in modern art, a bunch of modern arts, dude. But you see a complete different thing when in discussion and like older Enlightenment period text and stuff like that. It's actually really interesting. Because this is kind of the Enlightenment period. This is like 16th century. This is like when the Enlightenment period kind of started, dude. Sorry, I'm just fucking pulling up YouTube chat, even though I know nobody's in there. Besides me, I'm the only one in there. Yeah, so thus before science therefore is a certain and manifest knowledge of things that the intellect acquires. It is of two sorts, that is speculative and practical. Speculative is a simple operation of the intellect around its appropriate object. Practical only consists in actual workings of the intellect. Speculative is divided into two parts, that is, in real speculative and rational speculative. Real aims at the reality of its object, which shows its essence on its exterior. Rational consists in those things that only the intellect administers and does not extend itself further to other goals. Physics is a real speculative science that only aims at moving and natural things, like the elements. Mathematics is a real speculative science that only extends as far as the continuous and the discrete, continuous such as lines, circles, surfaces, the measures of which arithmetic deals with. Grammar, rhetoric, poetry, logic are rational speculative sciences. Practical science is further divided into two: active and productive. Ethics, politics, and economics are active. Productive can be separated into 7 others, called mechanical, which are woolcraft, agriculture, soldiery, navigation, medicine, hunting, and metalworking. Now, I think this is a little older perspective. This is like the 1700s. But I think it still holds true. Some of it still holds true, you know. He's making a good case. Now, to say, well, okay. I think the practical science divisions is kind of you know, rudimentary, dude. I think it could have a better definition. Now, in order to come what I promise about this noble science, I will go over its qualities and nature, discussing whether it is speculative or practical. I say that, in my opinion, it is speculative, and prove it with diverse reasons. There is no doubt that it is a science because it is not acquired if not through the operation of the intellect, from which it springs. That is, a speculative is certain, as it does not consist in more than simple knowledge of its object, as I will further demonstrate below. The object of this science is nothing more than parrying and wounding. The knowledge of those things is a work of the intellect, and experts of this science do not, with intelligence, extend it further than the knowledge of them. They cannot be understood at all unless one first has knowledge of tempi and measures, nor feints, disengage, or resolutions. Without knowledge of tempi and measures, there are all operations of the intellect. Moreover, the intellect does not reach beyond this understanding because, as I have said, the aim of this profession is understanding, parrying, and wounding. We will see whether it is a real speculative or rational speculative science. However, thinking on this, it cannot be rational, and the reason is this. Even though it is an operation of the intellect, it nevertheless extends further. Wherefore, I find it to be real speculative science. Real because the knowledge of its aim is shown to us outwardly by the intellect, since understanding of wounding and parrying, along with tempi, measures, feints, disengage, resolutions, despite being operations of the intellect, cannot be understood if outwardly. This outward expression consists in the bearings of the body and the sword and guards and counterguards, which all consist of circles, angles, lines, surfaces, measures, and of numbers. These things which must be observed can be read in a Camillo Agrippa and in many other experts of the science. Note that, just as operations of the intellect without an exterior operation cannot be shown to these exterior operations. These exterior operations cannot be understood without a prior operations of the intellect, in a way that this science, which derives from the intellect, cannot be understood the greatness, excellence, and the perfection of this profession, and will always be seen united. As there will never be a sun without a day, nor without sun, never will there be those without these, nor these without those. In the end, we see that it is a real speculative science. The science of the sword or of arms is a real speculative mathematical science, of geometry and arithmetic, of geometry, and this holds true even in modern day. If you want to become a good shooter, if you want to develop good shooting skills, you know, you like sniping, you want to be a sharpshooter, or you want to be an instantaneous shooter, you know, do a skeet shot and stuff like that. You're a hunter. Any good hunter, any good person with their salt, worth their salt, understands the mathematics and some understanding of the trajectory, the bullet trajectory, and some of these advanced dynamics associated with shooting, dude. So this holds true in a lot of and a lot of martial arts or applications of martial arts and understanding martial arts, dude. You know, it's just kind of weird when we get to hand combat. This discussion kind of de-evolves, dude. With just as fine that you feel burned. There is no motion of the body that does not produce an angle or constraint. No motion of the sword that does not travel in a line. No guard or counterguard that does not proceed by number. The observations of these all depend on knowledge of Tempian measures. Whence I conclude that this most noble science is speculative, real mathematical, of geometry and arithmetic, as I said little above. Perhaps some inquisitive person over this could say that the science of arms is a practical science with this reason. Practical science being a science that extends not only to the knowledge of its own object, but its operation, and the science of the sword being a science that applies not just the knowledge of, but the operation of it. This science is therefore practical and not speculative. To this objection I respond, all things have some operation from nature. And this is quite, this is actually quite profound, dude. This is a quite profound perspective. And mind you, this is from Almodo Lombardo, son of the most renowned Lord Marco. Who is he? Yeah, 1605. So he's in the time period of 1605 to 1700s. Or yeah, he's the 1700th century. And this is quite a profound perspective to have. All things have some operation from nature. Yes, knowledge that we gain is derived from operation from nature, dude. We gain. That's where our knowledge, the roots of our sense data, the roots of our consciousness begins, dude. By first observing and analyzing the sense data that we gain from nature, dude. Our operations are of three sorts. Some are internal, and these exist in pure and simple intellect and derive from rational speculative science. Some are internal and external, and these have commonality inside and out, the intellect, and arise from real speculative science. Some are completely external, and these exist entirely outside the intellect and depend on practical science. They are either active or productive. Now, mind you, this practical science, I think it's just more so in the knowledge. That's what I think is important. He's using the word science in truer to the original definition of the word science, of knowledge. Right now, the connotation of science as in the physical sciences and stuff like that, that's kind of taken over. That's kind of taken over the word science, But the basis of the word is like knowledge. They are either active or productive. Speculative, productive, real science is no different from practical science, other than this. Real speculative science, even though it operates outwardly in its object, it nevertheless furnishes the understanding of that in the intellect. Practical science not only cannot operate on its object if not outwardly, but also cannot even come to understand it if not outwardly. The science of arms obtains the knowledge of its object in the intellect, and even though it operates outwardly, cannot be said to be practical science. Rather, it is speculative, real science. We have therefore seen that it is a science and that it is mathematics of geometry and arithmetic, since it consists in numbers, lines, and measures. The author does not make mention of this in his observations so that learned persons and those with no study may acquire some profit from it. From the figures and his renowned lessons, therefore, without learning to understand the multiplicity of lines, circles, angles, surfaces, which would instead confuse the mind of the reader that does not understand these studies, giving him no instruction, everyone will, without a doubt, effort, learn to understand tempi, measures, resolutions, feints, disengage, and the methods of parrying and wounding. As for learning circles, lines, and other things mentioned above, every studious person will come to understand them with practice. I will always advise everyone to apply himself to the study of letters before this profession, because someone who has studied to understand the necessary things around this science will better profit and become more excellent and perfect, greatly reducing his time to acquire the understanding of the aforesaid things. Guards and counterguards, subtle and obvious, he who has not studied will not achieve so easily, and even though he can learn, will not acquire the understanding of this science without length of time and continuous exercise. How great is the dignity of the esteem of this profession? What decorum does it seek? What reputation, how much honor is it due? Under the obligation is someone who carries the sword and makes a profession of it. I say its dignity and consideration entirely derive from its qualities, by the division of which they can be understood. This science of the sword is separated into three parts. The first is divided into two, natural and artificial. Natural is a demonstrative discourse man makes use of naturally in parrying and wounding, since he proceeds with those goals extracting what Mother Nature administers to him for his needs with his own ingenuity. This is what many men of courage and spirit have shown great measure of in their contentions with men of great art and knowledge. The artificial is that which with ingenuity and long use and practice finds different manners of parrying and wounding using the above noted things, encompassed by short rules and extraordinary methods. Accordingly, coming to some occasion, a man extracts the proper terms of safety from this. In his lessons, the author shows great understanding of those two qualities, and the reader will be fully satisfied with them. The second part is the artificial science of the sword is divided in two, demonstrative and practice. Demonstrative is that which shows the proper method and term of parrying and wounding, firm-footed, just as with the pass, and when one must bind the enemy, and when one must draw back way of those lines, circles, circumstances which remember from above, through which the intellect governs, imparts the various and multiple postures and counter-postures of the body. Practice is the same demonstrative which, now that we have acquired it, we apply the understanding of 1,000 warnings. There is no difference between the except the demonstrative is self-contained and practice serves the understanding of various things. Third part is this. The demonstrative science of the sword is divided into two. The first demonstrative consists of uncomplex terms, that is simple terms, or composite, which combine multiple demonstrative terms of various circumstances, such as being outside of measure, with the arms open, the weapons high or low. They are called uncomplex terms, that is, the terms not understood by the enemy. They are called simple because they are natural. They are called composite because they contain many considerations. These are divided into first and second concepts. First concepts are real things that are first grasped by the intellect, like parrying and wounding, and these function in the first intention. Second concepts are formed by the intellect, and they produce our second intention, knowledge, in order to be capable of wounding and parrying. These are produced by means of the first, for as soon as our intellect has learned this aim of wounding and parrying, it immediately reasons out how it can be done in different manners and with different methods. The second demonstrative consists in complex terms, that is, terms that combine multiple demonstrative terms. And these terms either unite at measure or separate at a distance, demonstrate their purpose, like how being in guard with weapons closed demonstrates either at a distance or at a measure of a body's posture or counter posture, which is the point of that. How many things can be done with that? For this reason, it is seen how highly regarded this beautiful science is for its qualities and terms it contains. And so this is of great dignity because it is real speculative mathematics of geometry and arithmetic, and for the many qualities it is found to contain. Thus I say that it requires decorum and reputation matching its own. It is also to be considered, O readers, that this science is predominantly found in royal courts and with every prince studied in the most famous cities by barons, counts, knights, persons of great quality. This is for no other reason than because, just as it is noble, it excites and inflames our spirits to great things, to heroic feats and actions to measure up the virtue of the spirit, the valor of the body, the vigor, the strength, and the skill of the person. It always requires an equal match and allows no impugnment of them. It wants to be understood and learned, but not professed, not taken up for every folly. It avoids the disputes of villainous persons. It does not do all that it can, but shows itself at the time and place. It shirks the practices of excess and is of few words. It desires a serious comportment, an alert eye, an honored dress, a noble practice. This is enough about its decorum, reputation, in regard to the honor it is due. It is to be noted that the observance of all said things is an honor to this profession. It remains only to say what obligation someone who carries the sword is under. And I think that's based. I think that's a based ass fucking. That's a based ass take, dude. That shit's based ass. Yes, dude. If you're a true, you see these brutes. What separates intellectual in the practice of wounding and attacking, destroying fellow man and destroying opponents who wish them harm. You know, what separates the man of reason from the brute, the savage, the non-intellectual, the tyrant, the robbers, the thieves, the evil. What separates them is that quality gained through the pursuit of knowledge, through the objective analysis of reality. You know, the stratification of the power of the science. You know, in other aspects of life, and just solely keeping it contained within that realm of knowledge. You know, the brute gains a tool and uses that tool to destroy and take people's property and stuff like that. The intellectual swordsman, you know, the knight, the noble practitioner of the sword, the noble bearer of arms, the Minutemen, they gain knowledge of their tools of operation. They gain knowledge of that. They gain their tools. And instead of using it as means of depriving others, they use it as means of defense and means of further advancement of knowledge. So not only does the noble pursuit of martial arts and the science of war, the science of gunmanship, marksmanship, the science of marksmanship, not only do they deserve respect and to be treated dignity as a noble speculative science, you know, that requires great intellect, and only the best of men can achieve good qualities in it. You know, because it's true, dude. Your knowledge, your concepts must be advanced, dude. But no stagnant mind who secludes him, like in the pursuit of knowledge. And if your knowledge is derived from world, no stagnant mind will reach peaks and the pinnacle of knowledge if they stick to one realm of knowledge and have complete abnegation in other realms of knowledge. You know, the pursuit of knowledge should hold true in all aspects. The true pursuit of knowledge, the motivation should be understanding the world around you. The motivation should be gaining the capacity and knowledge to be able to tame the world around you. You know, to conquer the world and make it a better place for you, you know? That should be the first and foremost perspective of a seeker of knowledge, you know? A seeker of knowledge, a seeker of the noble pursuits, dude. And the seeker of knowledge, if he truly is a seeker of knowledge, he will start thinking of how do I make this world better for me? How, in which operations, you know? And that will derive more knowledge, you know? This pursuit of knowledge is a never-ending rabbit hole, dude. But only the truest of hearts, dude, the noblest of hearts amongst us can take such a route. How many so-called smart people who are pursuers of science yet hold irrational beliefs in other fields, you know? I know there's tons of scientists that are fucking lefties. There's a bunch of scientists who understand chemistry but somehow hate nuclear power and stuff like that, or they're fucking lefty faggots and shit like that, and they fucking love oppressing people and shit, dude. A true pursuer of knowledge, you know, is a noble, and this science also deserves such nobility as the other pursuits, man. Because that's powerful, dude. Look, this. Let me read this again. And so, this is of great dignity because it is a real speculative mathematics of geometry and arithmetic, and for the many qualities it is found to contain. Thus I say that it requires decorum and reputation matching its own. It is also to be considered, O readers, that this science is predominantly found in royal courts, with every prince studied in the most famous cities of barons, counts, knights, etc. This is for no other reason than because, just as it is noble, it excites and inflames our spirits to great things, to heroic feats and actions to measure up to the virtue of the spirit, the valor of the body, the vigor, the strength, and the skill of the person. This is what knowledge is for. This is what the pursuit of knowledge is supposed to be serving, dude. This pursuit of knowledge is not this altruist goal. It's not this goal to fulfill other people's needs. No, your pursuit of knowledge should first be for you to fulfill yourself, so that you can tame this world, and so that you can survive in this world where there is no manual on how to survive. There is no way. You must use your reason and rationale to derive methods, ways to live, and not only ways to live, but ways to live that allow you to have continued success rather than just short-term success, you know. We will pass over the terms of the duelists, who, along with having badly understood said profession, I say that with many of their propositions they also degrade it and have reduced it to such an unhappy state that it not only casts aside the virtuous life, human discourse, and every reason that such science demands, but forgetting the great God and themselves as a consequence, their unjust aims only possess it for the damnation of their spirits, abandoning the divine church for their diabolical thoughts. Now, I don't care about this religious hogwash, you know, but essentially they have no ethics, you know. This profession or readers places someone who practices it under obligation to understand that it desires to be used in 4 occasions. The first, for faith, right? So protection of my faith. So for myself, my mind, my liberty. Then for country, and then for country. So at war, yes, to defend my homeland. Yes, that's a good. See, and this is really good. Like, this is really good discussion on when one should initiate in a civilized society. We should not. It should still be okay to just analyze the sciences of force and the application of force. I mean, we have physics and stuff like that, right? But simultaneously, just this study itself does not mean that force should just be in place in society. You know, it's secluded to the realm. We've abolished force and discourse, you know, and at least it's supposed to be like that, you know, but the niggers treated differently, you know. So, but there's few occasions where the application of such knowledge is just, valid, and in fact needed, right, for the defense of, I wouldn't say the faith, I think a better term would be liberty of mind. So I guess we could take out faith, because dying for some shitty religion is trash. For the country, yes. If your country is good, your country is based and founded on individual rights and individual principles. If your country is a country that respects you as an individual and has a correct basis of government, meaning that it's there to protect individuals and doesn't transform into this collectivist tyranny bullshit, then yes, it is okay to fight. It is okay to apply the knowledge you have for your country. Like, I would, if me as an American citizen, I would definitely apply all my knowledge to help my military create advanced weaponry and destroy just enemies. Destroy enemies, dude. Now, if I was like in some fucking shithole country, some African third world hellhole, I would never dare do that. Fuck that government. I'm not gonna fight. I'm not gonna share my knowledge with them for defense of one's own life. Yes, the true and proper way to use force. This is the only way. This is the only proper way to use force in civilized society, dude. Hello, love songs. Where's everybody? Everybody's gone. I got 9 subscribers now, dude. My YouTube channel. My YouTube channel's new. How you doing, love songs? I didn't think you were gonna find me, dude. Yeah, but this is the true way to have. This is the only valid reason to use force in society, dude. In defense of life, liberty, property. And finally, for honor. No, we take honor out. Take honor out. So, I guess, in the end, all of these are bad. All of these reasons to exercise force and the use of swordsmanship is bad. The only good way to use it is for defense of one's own life. When I'm joining the military and helping the military defend my enemies, it's for my own life, dude. I'm doing it out of my own interest, man. I have mutual interest with the government to help defend the territories that we have claim over, Well, fight for honor, fight for pride and stuff like that. No, you don't. Just because somebody insults your honor or whatever doesn't mean that you should initiate force. Okay, guys. Leave that in the dark ages, man. Leave that. A lot of people still hold this rationale that if your honor gets impinged upon, it is up to you to exercise force to reduce that impingement. Nah, dude. That's in the realm of reason. It is not force. Chilling, watching RVX. I'm reading School or Theater by Nicolati Giganti. The proper name is actually School or Theater, in which different manners of swords and swords of parrying and wounding with single sword and dagger are represented, where every scholar will be able to exercise and become practiced in the profession of arms. By Nicolas Giganti Venici de Mosserin. Yeah, that's the real name. Yeah, are you liking RVX so far, love songs? Crispy W's been sparking out, dude. Another networker. We got Crispy W, the networker, on that RV, man. Where was I at? Yeah. It will always wishes to be a champion of reason, never taken hold in to do wrong, and someone who does so injures this profession. Neither will a man of honor ever hold on to wrong in order to fight, but will only do so for the said things. It is necessary to have occasion of honor ever have held on to the wrong in order to fight, but will do so. Wait. It's necessary to have an occasion, because fighting without one is a thing of foolish and drunk. Some as soon. Crispy made you cry. How did he make you cry, love songs? How did Crispy I want to hear about this. Made you cry laughing, dude. Won't be a sword on the side. Some, as soon as they have acquired some beginning of this, are wont to put the sword at their side, and using 1,000 insolences detain, wound, and sometimes kill some miserable person, believe in themselves to have acquired honor and fame. They do evil because, more than harming the nobility of this, which must not be employed without reason, they offend the just. Instead of just God and themselves, I would say the just ethics and themselves. In order not to become tedious, I will not continue, but only exhort each person to study such a noble and real science, beseeching him to heed the underwritten observations of our noble expert and to practice them, because with a short period of time no small profit will be acquired, observing how much this benefits his honor, glory, and greatness. All I put in chat was mass unbanned and he called me a stupid retarded bitch like 50x. So I said ban me, and then he said I was an embarrassment. Oh, love songs. Oh, you really cry love songs from that. Did he go on he went, I must have missed it, dude. I must have missed it. Did he go on like a fucking hour-long rant about how you're stupid? Crispy can hate all he wants, dude. But I don't really know if he has much purchase on like discrediting you. Like he can't really. Like he's punching up, dude. He's punching up at that point, dude. It's like, yeah, I might be retarded, but at least I'm not a fucking jobless bum, dude, like you. Yeah, I kind of realize that you're sensitive, love songs. It's okay, dude. It's okay. Yeah. It probably just got to you, love songs, because you were sitting there chilling and stuff, and you felt like it wounded you personally, dude, because you probably think of yourself as a good person. You know, you constantly talk about how you think you are dumb and stuff like that. So maybe you have some sensitivity associated with your intellectual capacity and stuff. You know, so maybe you hurt a heartstrung, dude. You know, you're just chilling and shit. You feel like you're a good person. You do feel like you're kind of dumb and stuff, and then he hit the right points at the right time, dude, and just got you to cry. Brutal, man. That's what it sounds like to me, dude. I remember you got mad at me once, love song, just because I said, oh, because I called you a dummy, dude. Yeah, I called you. For some reason, you get really sensitive when people call you dumb. I don't know why. It's not even something that you know, you shouldn't be ashamed that you're dumb. You should be ashamed that you don't try to overcome the wall of retardation. You know what I mean, dude? It's not having errors of knowledge or having less knowledge is not anything to be ashamed about. What's something to be ashamed about is whether you refuse to pursue knowledge that would make it easier for you or would help fill in the gaps for places where you feel insecure about. You know, that's something, but that's something on your own part. You know, that's like something that's like your self-esteem stuff. You know, it's like you should just like be like, you know, recognize you have the capacity of your brain. Like even though like Even if you have a track record of failure, you know, or a track record of bad decisions, you know, you should still like, you shouldn't just like think of that as like evidence of the future. You know, it's evidence that you make mistakes. It's evidence that there's errors in your knowledge. That's what it exists as. You know, that's what lack of knowledge exists as. It shouldn't be held as something like to hold you down. It doesn't mean that you'll always be a failure. It means that if you don't acknowledge these mistakes and continue down the same path, you'll continue making failure. You know, but the moment you stop making those mistakes, then what you do, you gain more knowledge. You know, so if you use those mistakes and failure as routes for gaining information and knowledge, dude, then there's no shame in being dumb. There's nothing wrong in being dumb, dude. I gotta blow my nose. My nose is fucking. There's a bunch of boogers, dude. Okay, so this is the copy. What do you think about that, Love Songs? You think I'm right, dude? Did I drop some jewels of wisdom, dude? I think that's a jewel of wisdom, man. Yo, you know what, Love Songs? I'm gonna make you a mod, dude. I'm making you a mod. I'm gonna make you a managing mod, Love Songs. You're a managing mod. Just don't fuck up my channel, dude. Don't fuck up my channel. Don't be banning people and shit. Only I can ban people, okay? But it's just cause you're one of you're my first constant typer. Yo, Base, dude. Base supporter, man. You're a real supporter, dude. You're right, but I Love Songs. Your brain cells aren't too fried, dude. You just gotta exercise your brain, you know. You literally what you gotta do is just practice exercising your brain, you know. Find places where you feel your brain is weak, you know, in the application of knowledge or understanding knowledge, and just like slowly, like you don't even have to do it fast. You just steady practice, you know. Make it a game. Make a game out of it, you know. Meditation or use it as relaxation and shit, dude. The pursuit of knowledge and gaining of knowledge isn't just like. See, a lot of people think of it as this like fucking. It is a task. It requires effort. It takes time, and sometimes it's uncomfortable, especially when you're working up a hill. You know, when you got a large chasm to walk over. You know, but the pursuit of knowledge, dude, is to make your life better. It's not to make your life harder, dude. It's not this chore that bears no fruit whatsoever. It helps you, dude. When your mind is faster, stronger, you experience life more. You get to understand life more. Your senses feel better, dude. Like it's like have you ever gone on like a fucking booze binge, dude? Like you sit in the incel cave. You sit in the incel cave for like a day or two, just getting fucking drunk and stupid and stuff like that. And then you stop the drinking and stuff. Then like the sense of sobriety comes back over you, and then like your sense, like the feeling of your senses come back. You know, they feel light, man. You feel, it doesn't feel like it's like bogged down in sludge and stuff. You know, your mind is working better and shit like that. That's basically the pursuit of knowledge, dude. But it's much harder. Here, what up? I do gotta blow my nose. Guards and counterguards. It is necessary for someone wishing to become an expert on the science of arms to understand many things. To give my lessons a beginning, I will first begin to discuss guards and counterguards, or postures and counterpostures of the sword. This because, coming to some incident of contention, it is first necessary to understand this is to be able to secure oneself against the enemy. To position oneself in guard, therefore, many things must be observed, as seen in my figures: standing firm over the feet, which are the base and foundation of the entire body. Okay, let's look for that figure. I forget they fucking draw people naked, dude. Sorry, I was doing stuff. I'm trying to look for the. I wish they had more figures, dude. Page 25. The dagger. Where's the figures, dude? Okay, well, I guess he'll go further into it. Now high, now... To position oneself in guard, therefore, many things must be observed. See, as seen in my figures, standing firm over the feet, which are the base and foundation of the entire body, in a just pace, restrained rather than long in order to be able to extend, holding the sword and dagger strongly in the hands. The dagger now high, now low, now extended. The sword now high, now low, on the right side in place in order to parry and wound, so that the enemy, throwing either a thrust or a cut, can be parried and wounded in the same tempo, with the vita disposed and ready, because lacking its disposition readiness, it will be an easy thing for the enemy to put it into disorder with a trito and reversal, a thrust in some other manner, and even in such a person were to parry, they would remain in danger. It is advised that the dagger should guard the enemy's sword, because if the enemy throws, it will parry that, and that the sword should always aim at the uncovered part of the enemy, so that he is wounded when throwing. This is all the artifice of this profession. Moreover, it must be noted that all motions of the sword are guards to those who know them, and all guards are good for the practiced person. On the contrary, no motion is a guard to those who do not understand any, and they are not good for those who do not know how to use them. This profession requires nothing more than science and practice. Practice, it bestows the science. Placing oneself uncovered in guard is artifice, and done so that the enemy disorders himself when throwing and ends up in danger. Placing oneself covered is also artifice, because binding the enemy, it is possible to wound. In this way, it can be understood that every guard aids those who understand and know, and no guard is valuable to those who do not understand or know. This is enough about guards. As for counter guards, it is advised that someone who has knowledge of this profession will never position himself in guard, but will seek to position himself in counter guard. Wanting to do so, know this: one must position oneself outside of measure, that is, at a distance, with the sword and dagger high, strong with the vita, with a firm and stable pace. Then consider the guard of the enemy. Afterwards, approach him little by little, binding with the sword to be safe. That is, almost resting your sword on his so that it covers it, because he will not be able to wound if he does not disengage the sword. The reason for this is that in disengaging, he performs two actions. First, he disengages, which is the first tempo, then wounding, which is the second. While he disengages, he can come to be wounded in many ways in the same tempo before he has time to wound, as will be seen in the figures in my book. If he changes guard due to the counter guard, it is necessary to follow him with the sword forward, with the dagger alongside, always securing his sword. Because in the first tempo, he will always have to disengage the sword and necessarily ends up wounded. Neither will it ever be possible for him to wound, if not with two tempi, or from those parrying will always be very easy. This is enough about guards and counter guards. You know, it's okay if you unmod me, this is unexpected. Are you asking for me to unmod you, Love Songs? Is that what you're asking for, dude? I don't care. I'll unmod you, dude. I just modded you. Yeah, I modded you, but you have no mod privilege. You can't do. I asked that you not do any mod activities and do not exercise any mod things. You're essentially just a regular chatter, dude. You just got that mod badge. You just got. It's a fancy badge on YouTube. On YouTube, dude. Oh. Instead of VIP badges, you get mod badges, dude. I'll demod you, dude. I'll demod you. If you're asking for it, I'll definitely demod you. It's a tar on my record to have mods, dude. You know, I think this discussion right here on I find this discussion of the counter guards extremely interesting, because That's what you should see. That's, you know, it's completely rational. That's, you know, when I fight hand-to-hand combat and all this other stuff, that's what I do. That's what you should do. That's how you get the optimum movements, dude. You never allow your enemy you either violence of action, so never allow them to move, or make it so that their movements play into your plans, dude. As I've gotten better at fighting, dude, it's like a crucial skill that I think is important, dude. Here, I'll just unmod you, dude. I'll just unmod you, fuck it. Now, I guess that was just like, that was like a symbolic gesture, dude. For being the OG. I appreciate you coming to my new channel, dude. W, dude. That's what that was for, man. W, dude. Tempo and measure. Wait up, let me get. My phone is down. Tempo and measure. It is not through knowing how to position oneself on guard or counter guard, nor how to throw thrust, an imbrocata, a mandrito, a reverso, nor how to turn the wrist, nor how to carry the body well, or how best to control the sword, that a person can be said to know how to parry and wound. Rather, it is by understanding tempo and measure. Someone who does not understand these, even though he parries and wounds, cannot be said to understand how to parry and wound, because such a person can err and incur 1,000 dangers in parrying as in wounding. Having therefore discussed guards and counter guards, it remains to discuss tempo and measure, in order to then know how to accommodate a recognition of when one must parry and wound. Measure then means when the sword can reach the enemy. When it cannot, it is called being out of measure. Tempo is recognized this way. In this way, if the enemy is in guard, one needs to position oneself outside of measure and advance with one's guard, securing oneself from the enemy's sword with one's own, and put one's mind in what he wishes to do. If he disengages, in the disengagement he can be wounded, and this is a tempo. If he changes guards while he changes is a tempo. If he turns, it is a tempo. If he binds to come to a measure while he walks before he arrives at measure is a tempo to wound him. If he throws, parrying and wounding in one tempo is also a tempo. If the enemy stands still in guard in order to wait and you advance to bind him and throw wherever he is uncovered, when you are at measure, it is a tempo. Okay. This is because in every motion of the dagger and sword, foot and vita, such as a changing guard, is a tempo. In the way that all these things are tempi, because they contain different intervals. While the enemy makes one of these motions, he will certainly be wounded, because while one moves, one cannot wound. It is necessary to learn this in order to be able to wound a parry. I will be demonstrating more clearly how one must do so in my figures. I forget that they, like, so you could really see, like, okay, so that's, the method of throwing stoccata. Now that we have discussed guards, counter guards, measures, and tempi, it is necessary to demonstrate and make understood how one must carry the vita in order to throw a stoccata and escape, since Wishing to learn this art, it is necessary to know how to carry the vita and throw long stoccate, as seen in this figure. He's right. He's right. I kind of struggle with that, dude. Look how far his sword is reaching out, dude. That's more than 2 arms length. That's how I'm seeing how that kind of looks like how it's done. It's like a stomp. It's like the opposite of boxing. Not really, actually. It is necessary. Okay. The proper method of throwing a stoccata is after being positioned in guard. It is necessary to throw the arm first, then extend forward the vita in one tempo so that the stoccata arrives and the enemy does not perceive it. Oh, okay. Okay, so it's something like this. Look. Something like this, dude. So you throw the arm first. Just like that. Arm first, body afterwards, dude. And the Vita has all the energy, mind you, so gets it out there, energy comes after. But you gotta do it fast, you know. It's hard. Yeah, it's really practice to keep, because you gotta keep your edge straight to get the proper thrust, and so your force goes all in one point, and your sword doesn't bend and stuff. You gotta, you know, you gotta do it. You gotta be stable and shit, dude. If the Vita were brought forward first, the enemy would notice it, and availing himself of the tempo, be able to parry and wound in one tempo. In withdrawing backward, one must first bring back the head, since behind the head will follow the Vita. And afterwards the foot. Bringing the foot back first and leaving the head and Vita forward keeps them in great danger. Therefore, learn this art well. One must first practice throwing the stoccata. Knowing this, the rest will be learned easily. And not knowing it, the contrary. Be advised, Lord readers, that in my lessons, I will place this method of throwing the stoccata many times where appropriate. This, I know, makes the lessons better understood. It is not said of me that I say one thing many times. Okay, so here, I'll leave off right here. Next time we pick this up, be another sword day. Well, let's go back to the dim hypothesis, dude. I haven't read that for a bit. Let's read some of that. Maybe that'll get some inspiration before Did you unmod me? What? Here, dude. So you didn't want to be unmodded? You just can't. You just don't do any mod activities, okay? You made it sound like you wanted to be unmodded. Love songs. What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, but be careful, dear Lord readers. We're gonna be practicing the stoccata. I think it's good that I got the form, because I had difficulty doing the stoccata, dude. I was good with the underhand thrust, but the stoccata was kind of hard for me, dude. Where did I leave off? The argument went on for centuries. Another of its form pertains to the nature of a priori. Since a priori ideas deriving from God are man's indispensable cognitive foundation, some said, the integrator should take the I guess. The integrator should take these as his starting point and proceed to reach scientific laws deductively, as in traditional rationalism. Others, however, unable any longer to envision scientific method as geometrical, tended to minimize the scientific role of a priori ideas, relegating them to the status of general preconditions of thought, essential to all mental activity, but not specifically relevant to the scientist. In practice, these men urged the study of nature through inductive methods independent of any a priori. Still, Others developing this idea went a step further. They removed the a priori altogether from worldly thought, reserving for it a crucial role only in man's final all-embracing integration. Okay, so you did like that much. Okay. Dude, why did you love songs? Why did you leave Crispy? I want to hear the story of why you left Crispy W's Discord, dude. I want to know what happened, dude. I know I be doing some incel shit, dude. Yeah, but it's cause I'm incel. You get what you get, you know. You get what you get, dude. Fuck with an incel nigga, you get some incel things, dude. You know, but fucking, I want to know what Crispy's shit, dude, is so fucking. My incel shit is kind of boring, dude. It's boring. The person I'm interacting with, yeah, may flutter their heartstrings and stuff, but for the most part, it's boring. It's not really content. But Crispy W's is funny to laugh at, dude. As a last illustration here, there are disputes on how to interpret many apparent clashes between a priori and empirical knowledge. For example, Leibniz's deductive inference that all is for the best, which was quickly followed by the disastrous Lisbon earthquake, or the biblical claim that Jesus walked on the waters, and the Newtonian claim that gravity makes this impossible. If your a priori principle is correct, Plato would say, don't accept as an objection claims based merely on experience. If the a priori does not derive from observation, Aristotle would say, get rid of it. Perhaps, replied some of the reconcilers, we must occasionally reinterpret the findings of science in order to integrate them with the wisdom in the Bible, or some other repository of a priori. But came the retort, what then would be left of scientific method, thus of science? Well then, suggested others, perhaps we should occasionally reinterpret the Bible to fit science. But the more religious retorted, what then would be left of the absolutum of God's word? Let me stress here that worldly supernaturalists do not regard the above questions and dilemmas unanswerable. On the contrary, many of them have worked out their answers, which in most cases from an internally consistent philosophy. My point is not that worldly supernaturalism is inherently unsystematic, but that by its nature, it spawns many systems, each faithful to the mixture of fundamental principles, yet each incompatible with others in its implications for integration. You know what? And that's pretty interesting. That's actually extremely interesting, you know? Because I agree. Like, if you look at it like a matrix, yeah, it has no solution. The integration is really subjective and stuff like that. So many variables, all this other stuff. Yeah, the only solution to that is infinite solutions, dude. And each infinite solution is a different solution that is incompatible with the other solution. So the philosophies at the end of the day come to conflict. That's why you see Christianity, the Abrahamic religions, you see them spawn off into multiple different variations, and they're all in conflict with each other. As the disputes make clear, worldly supernaturalism subsumes a range of thinkers who, in regard to integration, differ not on fundamentals, but in degree. The degree of their tilt toward Plato or toward Aristotle. The tilt, of course, can go only so far before one of two defining elements has been dropped, and the mixed viewpoint they thereby abandoned. But within these limits, the mixed system, by its nature, cannot tell the integrator what philosophic role or importance to give to each of its elements. More or less the study of nature, more to less the reliance on sense perception. Whatever the school's consistency in broad theory, the clash between Plato and Aristotle continually erupts in its representatives' thought about cognitive practice. Render unto Caesar that which Caesar's, and unto God that which is God's. On this all the mixed thinkers agreed. But how much is God's, and when is it due? On this the mixed men, being mixed, could not agree. The above indicates an essential difference between Big Three and the worldly supernaturalists. The philosophy of each of the Big Three does not lead to or allow for contradictory interpretations of integration. The fundamentals of the great spawns no such clashes, which is why we find among their followers no similar proliferation of disputants. Within each of the three camps, thinkers give the same specific answer to the epistemological questions. How should man integrate? Should he focus his consciousness on nature or on God? Should he accept ideas only if based on sense data? Or only if based on truths independent of sense data? Or for Kant, should he reject all of it? These are either or questions, which demand a yes or no answer. Reconcilers, by contrast, are the men of both, and, as such, they have been unable to escape differences in tilt. And the tilt is always toward one of the Big Three. By their nature, the Big Three cannot tilt. I do not deny that there can be large and important differences among any theory's advocates when they come to apply their fundamentals to specific creative issues. As examples to be discussed later, the same pure school of integration subsumes medieval teleology and Marxist dialectics. And the pure school subsumes Sophocles and Hugo. Despite the obvious differences in each pair, the representatives within each camp, as we will see, are guided by the same approach to integration. Within a pure mode, thinkers face no unsolvable epistemological dilemmas. Worldly supernaturalism accepts the worldly many and their interconnections through their derivation from a transcendent one. As corollary, it accepts observation of the many as knowledge. Since the empirical is validated by the one's a priori legacy, the philosophy thus affirms not the one without the many, or the one in the many, but as we may call it, the many from the one. Knowing skepticism. If one of the two modern mixtures represents a mutation of rationalism in the face of Aristotle, the other represents a mutation of empiricism in the face of Kant. Early modern scientists, despite their frequent equation of Aristotle with the medievals, did accept in practice his integrative principles, naturalism, the cognitive primacy of sense perception, and scientific progress as the discovery of connections through the use of ever broader concepts uniting ever greater ranges of data. The earlier philosophers of modern empiricism, however, while they upheld nature and championed the senses, believed that the root error of rationalism, their enemy, was an over-reliance on abstractions. Hence they tended to downplay, though not to reject outright, the cognitive role of concepts. When these Aristotelian monks encountered Kant, they bowed to the critique, but not completely. The post-Kantian empiricists agreed with Kant that reality is unknowable, but they did not agree that this conclusion turned empirical science, whose progress they admired, into a lower recorder of mere appearance. Their new approach to philosophy accordingly is Kantian, but with some key Aristotelian tenets added. I identified this mixture as knowing skepticism, and here I do mean skepticism as against nihilism. The mixture was dominant throughout the 19th century, especially in England and America. Its first full statement was the positivism of Auguste Comte. Comte begins by accepting then extending Kant's approach. Because our knowledge is relative to man's faculty, he says, it is subjective, so we can learn nothing about reality, not even that there is such a thing. Nor by the same logic can we learn anything about a preconscious world-shaping mind alleged by Kant to be real, but unperceivable. Kant thus drops the idea of an unknowable noumenal world. What he is left with is the total of that which exists, and thus the only possible object of knowledge is Kant's phenomenal world. The universe is no more than a stream of human experiences. Mankind, says Comte, has evolved in three stages. The first was theological, when man invoked supernatural causes to explain the natural events. Next came a higher stage, the metaphysical, in which they invoked the explanation of what they observed, entities they were allegedly worldly, but nevertheless unobservable, such as essences or ultimate causes, supposedly lurking within external objects. Finally, men have reached the intellectual maturity with the development of positivism. Positivism restricts cognition to grasp of facts knowable by sense perception. Any abstraction or theory involving unobservables is by its nature invalid. The perennial questions of philosophy, accordingly, must be dropped. For example, do material objects exist independent of our experience? Is a metaphysical and therefore invalid question, since it cannot be answered by sense experience. No one can perceive a sense datum when he is not perceiving it. For the same reason, positivists did not stigmatize the natural world as mere appearance or extol it as reality, because there is no sense perception enabling us to differentiate what is called appearance from reality. All such questions and distinctions are literally meaningless. Since their key terms have no empirical reference, Hume had attempted in vain to find empirical answers to some of these questions. Positivism regards the attempt itself as wrong-headed. Nor Comte says, does positivism undermine science? On contrary, only if scientists take experience as primary, dismissing questions about its source or status, can they achieve solidly based results, because only then are they restricting themselves to the knowable. Wow, that's weird. Another day. Last night's mistake sleeping in the hay. Some cracks open like a runny egg. They found my body in the hay. They found my body after 1,000 years. How many babies born this year? And can we all send them right back? Fight them off and plan an attack. Stumbling and I fall asleep. They can't stone me till I fall asleep. They can't stone me till I fall asleep. The Feast of Stephen. Yeah. You know, when I think about it, dude, even though I think abortion is okay, and I think women should do abortion if they choose so, you know, and if the baby truly is a detriment to them, I think it's a good choice, you know. But I think Planned Parenthood is evil, dude, because you think about it, it's from the eugenics program. Back when the eugenicists had control over had influence over policy and society and perceptions of society and management of society and stuff like that. When these faggots, when the mixed economy state was birthed and everybody thought the government should control the civil society, you know. I think Planned Parenthood is evil, dude. I think it's an evil organization. I think it's evil that it's a charity, or isn't it a charity organization? Is Planned Parenthood 501k? Yeah, so Planned Parenthood is a 501, is a charitable organization, right? But when you think about it, it was it was created by eugenicist feds, dude. Eugenicist feds. And it's like, dude, would you really want your taxpayer money to go to them? Hopefully they don't get any taxpayer money. But they probably do. They probably do get taxpayer money. They should be operating. It would be much better. Like, okay, if this eugenicist feds, eugenicist feds opened up a business, right? And they're like, oh, this is our abortion business and stuff, and it became something like that. Okay, maybe that's a different story. They opened up a charity organization to perform eugenic activities, psyops, dude. This is evil, man. This is evil. So even if I'm okay with abortion, I still think Planned Parenthood is an evil organization, dude. The perennial question of philosophy accordingly must be dropped, for example. Oh no, let me check Kick Chat. The perennial question of philosophy accordingly must be dropped. For example, do material objects exist independent of our experience? Is a metaphysical and therefore invalid question since it cannot be answered by sense experience. One could perceive sense data when... Okay, where did I leave off? That was all... Okay. The corollary of positivism's restriction of cognition to sense data is its animus against conceptual knowledge. An animus that in several ways is without precedent in earlier empiricism. The animus is not a result of nominalism, the perennial view of skeptics that man cannot find any basis in reality for concept formation. He again, the positivist position, is not that we can't find such a basis, but rather we shouldn't be looking for it. A concept traditionalists had claimed is an entity unifying, thus making possible knowledge of countless similar instances spread across all time and space. By definition, Comte notes, to invoke such an entity is to transcend possible experience and embrace the metaphysical. Now, a quick tangent from this. What you'll see is actually in modern manifestations of such tenets, if you will, trash. Go IRL. I would go IRL, dude, but I have let me look at my bank account, dude. Let me look at my bank account real quick, dude. I want to go IRL so bad, dude. Yeah, 41 cents in my bank. $0.41 in my bank account, dude, so I cannot go IRL. Guys, I'm sorry. I don't even want to walk all the way down there, dude. It's hot. I have to walk all the... I would rather get a bus pass, nigga. You did not send me $30, lying ass, dude. Yeah, you a lying ass nigga, dude. You didn't send me any donos, dude. Yeah, see, the TTS didn't go off, none of that. Yeah, you scamming me, nigga. Buy yourself a cute dress. Yeah, I will buy myself a cute dress, nigga. I'ma mog you in a dress, nigga. I get bitches in dresses, nigga. Bitches love me in my skirt, dude. They see my ass and shit, they fucking love that shit, dude. Femboy nation, nigga. Shit goes up, shit goes down. Okay, yeah. So the tangent I was gonna go on. When are you gonna detransition? I'm not transition, nigga. These titties are all natural, son. These titties are natural, dude. See them? You see my titties moving? Damn, dude. Low key starvation maxing, dude, has made me look like I have a six pack, dude. That's crazy, dude. Starving has done wonders. Starving and gym maxing, dude. Holy pink pill, nah, it's all natural, nigga. I'm not transitioned. I'm a man, okay? I am a man. I am a man. Cock and balls, dude. Cock balls. They're not for sale. Cock balls are not for sale. But if a lovely lady wants to try out some cock and balls, dude, you know, I'm open if she's able to prove herself worthy of my adoration of love. And then possibly you could have cock and balls, dude, for free, man. Well, it's not for free. You're exchanging for the cock and balls. I require love, passion, emotion, and joy, dude. I require joy from your existence, dude. That is my demand. Snorted Coke, go live, dude. Go IRL, nigga. You got more money than me right now, Snorted Coke. I got 47 cents, nigga. Spend all my money, dude. Spend all my money. I'm too lazy to fucking hit up my other retirement company so that I can pull out my fucking retirement. Get taxed up the ass by the feds for pulling. I think that's such faggot shit, dude. Oh, I can't have a retirement account. The whole retirement account stuff and the feds harassing us for our retirement shit, it's kind of fucking ass, dude. It's fucked up, man. Going back onto the tangent I was gonna go on. You know, you kind of see this perspective and using keeping within the realm of knowledge they do know in things such as D'Angelo's white fragility, you know, Oh, this is the wrong one. But her book, White Fragility, you know, she talks about unconscious, the whole, like, some of the basis for some of their discussion is unconscious bias, you know, and stuff like that, you know, subconscious bias or stuff. It's not even subconscious, they call it unconscious bias. It's like ingrained in your DNA and all this other stuff, dude. And so they completely, they allow this like philosophy allows them to kind of circumvent the whole refutation of why they need to brainwash white people into stuff, dude. IRL is cope. You're right, dude. You're right. IRL is cope from the incel, dude. I can't even refute that, nigga. Jesus, but anything is better than this shit, dude. Anything is better than this shit, dude. I don't know. Hopefully, I can go to the next city council meeting. Nah, I can't, dude. Damn it. Wow. An acceptance of concepts in the pre-Kantian sense would, therefore, be destruction of science. Thus arose the first movement not of weary skeptics decrying the futility of science, but of serious thinkers eager to advance science, science without metaphysics. It is in this way that integration, the great distorter of mind, according to Kant, lost its final territory. Conceptualization became the enemy of empirical science. Concepts had now lost their status as cognitive tools in regard not only to the noumenal world, but also the phenomenal world. It is difficult for the pioneers of a movement to see its full implications or therefore to carry their revolutions all the way. In their earlier decades, accordingly, Kantians retained concepts including some quite broad terms, as a convenient, even inescapable linguistic shorthand enabling men to segregate objects within observable and more or less similar features from the rest. But these groupings, they said, are not based on so-called facts of reality, such as unperceivable. Juneteenth stream, base, yo, W, base. Base Juneteenth stream, dude. Do it. Celebrate Juneteenth, dude. These groupies, they said, are not based on so-called facts of reality such as perceivable universals. On the contrary, the organization we impose is subjective and essentially arbitrary since it reflects primarily men's needs and desires. And if the instances of concept are subsumed under it arbitrarily, we cannot ask for their necessary connection, which anyway is another metaphysical term. Hence, Kant concludes, the laws science formulates and the classifications they presuppose cannot be described as necessary or certain or even true in the sense of being necessitated by observation. But in the positivist's opinion, this conclusion does not sink science. It does not alter the fact that induction, which enables us to transcend the animals and predict future events, is a valid process and indeed the main task of science. In other words, generalizations are legitimate, even indispensable, though they have no objective basis in observation, which is our only means of knowledge. Sorry, I'm messaging somebody. But in the positivist opinion, okay, oh, my fucking phone isn't charging, dude. I was hoping that my phone would charge, and then maybe once it's like 6 o'clock, I might do some nighttime IRL once I get paid and shit. Oh, but I can't be fucking blowing my check, dude. I'm gonna save some money, nigga. $5 years, dude. 5 years, I'll be making returns on my investments, man. 5 years, dude. It's hard to build up money, dude. It's hard, man, when I'm operating in a deficit, dude. And now I gotta buy my own food. I've always been buying my own food, dude. But now, honestly, dude, I gotta stop buying fast food, man. I keep buying fast foods and stuff. The $7 builds up, nigga, if you're doing it every day. $7 30 days in a row. That's $210, dude. You know? Choking. What do you buy for fast food? The worst part is I usually buy breakfast fast food, dude. So like I'll get like breakfast at Jack in the Box, get the meal. I'll get like every now and then I'll buy dinner fast food. I usually don't buy it's mainly breakfast fast food. It's cuz I'm lazy, dude. I got breakfast food in the house. I'm just too lazy to wake up earlier and fucking cook the breakfast first, dude. I started doing that the last couple of days, but that's because I had no money, dude. I have no money to buy breakfast food, dude. It's like what? Either go to work starving, dude, or cook breakfast first, man. Let that be shot. And I think I still have. Do I still have protein pancakes? I think I still have some protein pancakes and shit, dude. I got protein pancakes. I got all this other shit. I'm just too lazy to cook it, man. It's fucking retarded. Make an egg burrito, yeah, egg burritos. Usually I make like, I just make some potatoes, eggs, and maybe some meat. That's like the main thing. Potatoes and eggs. Pancakes. Egg burritos are good too, though. I got some sour cream and shit, dude. Some toast. But in the positivist opinions, I don't know, dude. To be honest, dude, I'm gonna have to start spending my money more wisely, dude. Cause I gotta save up now, dude. So now that I got some of the financial bubble dealt with, my debt bubble dealt with, now if I start spending smartly, I have more like leeway, you know. So if I start spending smartly and stuff, I can still save up for my goals. Cause I got like 3 months until September. 4 months? Okay, 4 months till September. Okay, I still got a bunch of time actually. But I want to at least, I need to buy that printer, dude. So I want to get that printer by like maybe, I'm gonna say August, dude. But the best time would be towards the end of July. I could get that 3D printer, start doing shit like that. And then I'll save up for going to Austin, Texas in September. It's gonna be my first time traveling alone to like a new place, you know. I've been to Texas before, but I never traveled to a place by myself, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be my first time like setting up, like I'm gonna have to set up like a hotel or some stay or some shit like that. Find a place to stay. Kind of think about like the plans, because the convention isn't gonna last all day, so I gotta think about what I want to do. I'll probably do some IRO in Austin, dude. Do some Austin IRO and shit. Investigate stuff, you know. Spread capitalism, advocate capitalism stuff. Do some capitalism streams. Oh, that, you know what'd be good? Have my essays done by then. Have my essays done, and then I'll do a stream. Capitalism stream, spreading out essays and stuff like that, hoping that people support capitalism and can hear reason, man. Oh, it's bad advice. Yeah, if I move appropriately, dude, if I move with patience and wisdom, dude, I think I could definitely see some financial improvement, dude. I'm not gonna give up too much of what I'm doing, dude, in my operations, but just know I'm hoping that maybe I could get upward positions and stuff like that. Maybe I could get a new position. Try to link with Twiggy. Yeah, I think Twiggy might be down. I don't know. It seems like she's kind of interested. She tries to play like she's not interested. I think she's kind of interested, dude. So when I'm heading over, dude, I'll hit up Twiggy and shit. But I got no Instagram, so I have like no way to contact Twiggy, to be honest, dude. I'll try to do a collab with Twiggy and some shit. Try to get her to be my date to the convention and shit. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna try to make her my date to the convention and not buy her a ticket. And so when I go to the convention, I'm gonna be like, we're gonna do IRL, we're gonna hang out, have a good time. And then when the convention comes, I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm not buying for you. I'm not buying your ticket, dude. So I guess this is where we part ways. Peace out, dude. It just fucking bounced, dude. That would be. Yeah, I'm totally gonna. I'm not buying her a ticket, dude. Like maybe love songs. Love songs. If you'll be my date, I'll buy you a ticket. Love songs. I'll buy you a ticket, dude. If you come be my date to the Ayn Rand con, dude. Twiggy, I'm not paying for a ticket. Fuck that, man. What the fuck? What do I look like, man? We don't pay whores over here, dude. We don't pay for whores, man. We get whores pay for us. They should be grateful, nigga. Whores should be grateful. I even indulge them with time and compassion and allow them to enjoy my existence, dude. We don't pay for whores, you know. Yeah, that would be fucking dope. That would be dope, dude. I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to make it real. I'm not even saying I'm trying to make it real. I'm gonna take productive action to make sure that these plans come to fruition. I've succeeded in my first couple steps of the plans. Now I just have to make sure I have continued success, and continued growth. So far, yeah, I need to make sure I have continued growth and success, dude. The resolution of this seeming contradiction, according to positivism, lies in the observable fact. If we assume the uniformity of nature, even though we cannot prove it, and limit our inductions to our immediate perceivable environment, many of our generalizations turn out, in Comte's words, to have practical certainty and practical value, which is all men need in order to act. Before Kant, a cognitive process based on subjective, unprovable assumptions would have been condemned by most philosophers as irrational and tenable, no matter what its practical results. A subjective assumption had been regarded by some as required for worldly action, but never on such ground as a form of truth cognition. This was Hume's view, for example. Now, with this, I do have to clean the house, dude. I do have my house is extremely dirty right now. Like I just got a bunch like that's just like a pile of clothes right there, dude. I just got a pile of clothes, man. So I gotta do something about this. This is one of my few days off, dude. I gotta clean up, man. I'll probably be live. I'll try to be live later. Maybe we'll get some beers later and do some IRL or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out, dude. But thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys for watching. You know, I still have to work on the essay a bit, so most likely I won't be live later. But yeah, this is.